Training for his next against his next opponent, Alex Stewart. As SNN's Mike Forrest reports now, Tyson hoping this will be his last fight before getting a crack at the championship.
All that was missing were the clowns. It was a real circus when Mike Tyson was unveiled to the media. Film director Spike Lee was even there, commissioned to make a pre-fight feature. There were camera crews not only from the United States, but Sweden and Great Britain. Everybody at Trump Plaza to see Tyson get in the ring and spar a couple of rounds, to see if the former champ was in shape for his upcoming fight against Alex Stewart 3 weeks from now. This fight was scheduled for September, but back in August, Tyson suffered a cut over his right eye while sparring. It took 48 stitches to close, and the fight was delayed till December 8th. If Tyson wins this one, he's got another shot at the title coming up, the winner of the Evander Holyfield-George Foreman fight. But he told me he's not thinking that far ahead.
Give you my opinion of the situation, but I never think about those guys. It's basically, my intensity on Alex Stewart.
And after his loss to Buster Douglas, there were those who questioned his desire.
Yeah, man, he's going to get in the ring and fight and show people like, well, I can fight. That's basically where it's always been at. You know, you can't be in a situation because one guy had a bad fight. They say, oh, he's over the hill, he's shot. You know, it's ridiculous that people make those issues. You know, out of all those fights, one fight I lost, and I won 37.
So after this entire circus that's taken up most of the afternoon with Spike Lee making his movie, Don King in the background, Mike working out behind me, everybody's here, all the local camera crews, some camera crews from overseas. We just found out from his trainer, Mike Tyson is not going to get in the ring. He will not spar today.
But he wants to come back Monday. We'll be back sparring Monday. You can take shots every Monday sparring. I'm sorry, but today was our day off.
So if you want to see Mike Tyson sparring, I guess everybody's going to have to come back next week. At the Trump Plaza Casino Hotel in Atlantic City, Mike Forrest for the Mizlu Sports News Network.
Mike Tyson against Alex Stewart in Atlantic City, December the 8th.
And Tales from the Crypt comes an all-new creation of terror. A killing machine more devastating than Jason, more frightening than Freddy. He's Iron Mike Tyson. See Tyson take on Alex Stewart coming Saturday, December 8th, only on HBO. Pray for Alex Stewart.
World Championship Boxing presents Iron Mike Tyson when he takes his devastating power on the comeback trail against knockout artist Alex Stewart. Julio Cesar Chavez, 71-0, puts his titles on the line against WBC #1 contender Korean Kyung-Duk Han. HBO Sports presents a dynamite doubleheader. Iron Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez. Live tomorrow, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on HBO.
He's not the least bit worried about regaining the heavyweight title that he lost to Buster Douglas back in February. I don't believe him. Tyson fights Alex Stewart Saturday night at the Convention Center in Atlantic City. The weigh-in for that fight was held Thursday in Atlantic City. Stewart scaling in at 218 pounds. Now, he was to have fought Tyson September 22nd, but the match was postponed because Tyson cut his eye in a sparring match with Greg Page. Tyson, he weighed in at 217 3/4, almost identical. He has had one fight since his loss to Douglas when he beat Henry Tillman in June in the first round. All right, there are the two boxers. There's the tail of the tape. Stewart's 2 years older. He's a quarter of a pound heavier, has a lot more height and a lot more reach. The records, they're almost identical as well, each fighter with one loss. SNN's Mike Forrest has more in this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the final public appearance, the end of a long day, was the official weigh-in, 7 o'clock Thursday night. Alex Stewart first to step on the scales, New Jersey Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazzard at the microphone.
Alex Stewart, 218 pounds. Mike Tyson, 217 3/4.
As he was leaving the weigh-in, I managed to get through to Mike Tyson.
I'm ready. It's not going to let people to suffer very much.
Not you, Charlie.
You look real focused, are you?
I'm ready.
I thought Mike Tyson looked sensational. I never saw his body look that cut up. And at that weight, Mike is going to be very fast, and I think he's going to be too much for Alex to handle.
This last day of public viewing began early in the morning with a long 2-hour news conference. Whenever Don King does anything, it's long. Each fighter had his say at the microphone.
I feel I'm ready, and that's all what's I gotta do this before, take that major step. You know, like Mike did it, my time to do it now.
And I'm in great shape. I'm just ready. If you want to talk to me, I'm over here.
I grabbed Stewart and his trainer Edwin Virouette for a few quick thoughts on how they plan to handle Mike Tyson.
Everybody's going to think it is an easier fight for Tyson, but I'm going to say something. This is going to be one of the roughest, toughest fights for Mike Tyson. I say my fight is going to be a victory in this one.
Why do you say that?
Because he's a good preparer. He's mentally, I train him hard for this one. It reminds me a lot of this fight, Joe Frazier's way. And my kid is ready. I'm ready. I'm very confident. And I mean, I think Tyson's more scared of him than he is for him.
Alex, you know Mike's going to come at you in the first round like gangbusters, don't you?
Yeah. Well, he comes, he's going to get hit.
That first round going to be a big test for you?
No, it's going to be a normal fight. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to win the round. If not, I'm going to go on and try and win the second one. Go on and go on and go on.
Later in the afternoon, Stewart was back in the ring for his final training session. Tyson had finished up his training on Wednesday. The next time Mike Tyson and Alex Stewart meet, it will be center ring Saturday night. In Atlantic City, Mike Forrest for the Mizlou Sports News Network.
One of those I want my title back fights. Mike Tyson will take the ring Saturday night for a second time after losing his heavyweight championships to Buster Douglas. Much has happened since then in the boxing world. One thing has remained the same, however. Tyson's fights last seconds. Can we expect the same against Alex Stewart? Ed Berliner has a preview.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Trump Plaza Arena, the site of Mike Tyson's last successful title defense. It is here that Tyson and Alex the Destroyer Stewart are scheduled, or should we say rescheduled, for their 10-round bout. Since his stunning loss to Buster Douglas last February in Tokyo, Mike Tyson has been on the road back to respectability, and he hopes the undisputed heavyweight championship. The Brooklyn, New York native understands that he has to fight to earn the title, but doesn't understand why he must continuously fight to earn respect.
I've won all those fights. One fight I lost, and I mean, I won 37. You know what I mean? Did that qualify me for any credibility?
The road back began last June 16th when he KO'd Henry Tillman in the first round of a fight that saw a lean, focused Tyson walk through the best punches Tillman had to offer. While most of Tyson's camp views his next fight as an annoying delay to regaining the title, Alex Stewart is not a fighter one should overlook. Aside from Tyson, he's probably the #1 knockout puncher in the heavyweight division. At 26-1, he's knocked out everyone he's ever climbed into the ring with one notable exception. When Stewart took on reigning champ Evander Holyfield, he gained respect as a force to be reckoned with when he rocked Evander during a 5th-round flurry. The fight was stopped, though, in the 8th, due to a cut over Stewart's eye. What a round for Stewart! During training and sparring for Stewart, Tyson has looked happier and more confident than ever before. He even has a new nickname, Mighty Mike. Whether he's sincere or simply masking the fact that he has everything to lose in this fight, no one really knows. Unless he wins, and wins big. The number of fans who deserted him after Tokyo will swell in ranks. On the positive side, Tyson has nearly twice the experience in the ring that Stewart does. That's a lot, considering Mike Tyson is a one-round specialist. 46% of his opponents never heard a second-round bell.
Mike Tyson to trap him in the corner.
Keeping all this in perspective, the Destroyer's fight plan is a very simple one.
He's going to try and take me out in the first round. I mean, he ain't going to change his plan now. Once he hits you, I mean, there are 36 guys, 38 guys had planned, you know? Only one work. So, I mean, I ain't going to go in there with no definite plan. I'm going in there to hit him. And, you know, I have nothing to lose.
Stewart, then, has nothing to lose. Tyson, then, has something to prove. Prove that one decisive round in Tokyo means nothing compared to the other 136.
I know I can beat him. I'm confident I can beat him. That's the main issue about anything. I never lost my confidence. I mean, I know who I am. I mean, why am I not the same guy that I used to be because I had one bad night? That's ridiculous.
Mike Tyson just 2 pounds lighter than he was when he fought James Buster Douglas, but he's in much better shape this time around.
Yeah, just a quarter pound lighter than Alex Stewart. I don't think it'll go 4 rounds. Tyson by TKO.
And boy, did he look it tonight against Alex Stewart.
I think Stewart would agree that Tyson's a tough opponent. Stewart, by the way, gave the current heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield quite a run for his money, but he was absolutely no match for Iron Mike Tyson, who appeared to be back in his old form. Former heavyweight champ Mike Tyson hoping to take that final step towards the heavyweight title shot, meeting Alex Stewart at the Convention Center in Atlantic City tonight, the site of some of Tyson's most amazing bouts. And Nick Charles is standing by at ringside. We're going to go to him in just a few moments for the report. This is Tyson's second fight since being stripped of the heavyweight title by James Buster Douglas 10 months ago. Tyson's last fight lasted only 2 minutes and 47 seconds against Henry Tillman, and it lasted shorter tonight against Alex Stewart as he knocked down Alex Stewart, began the fight by throwing a wild right and then knocked Stewart down 8 seconds into the fight with a right to the head. Tyson was looking for the early knockout. He was applying tremendous pressure. Stewart tied him up briefly. Tyson was going for the knockout. Tyson even fell to the floor. Stewart backpedaling desperately in this fight. He was up at 8 after the second knockdown, but was badly hurt, wobbled back at Tyson. Tyson looking for the kill. Stewart tied him up, and then they were separated by the referee, but clinched again, and Tyson got in a couple of left hooks. Stewart was grabbing and wobbling, trying to stave off Tyson, but he finally threw a left hook, and he put Alex Stewart down again, and that was it for this fight. And you see Tyson raising his arms in victory. Tyson, as the winner, his record now goes to 39-1 with 35 knockouts. And interestingly enough, 19 of those knockouts by Mike Tyson have come in the first round. In all 3 of his last fights at the Convention Center in Atlantic City, they have all ended in a first-round knockout. We'll have more from Nick Charles a little bit later on in the show. Tom?
Now the scene, Charlie Steiner. Charlie?
Tom, you're absolutely right. Atlantic City has been very, very good to Mike Tyson over the past 3 years or thereabouts. Of course, you remember his 91-second devastation of Michael Spinks, his 93-second devastation of Carl the Truth Williams, and tonight it lasted 147 seconds, 2 minutes and 27 of the first round, and Alex the Destroyer became Alex the Destroyee. The second punch of the night put Alex Stewart on the canvas. He was wobbling from there, trying to hang on. He was knocked down by a right hand over the head. That was the second knockdown of the fight, and the third knockdown was a left hand. Let's take a look at some of the stills that have been taken here in Atlantic City. That's the second punch of the night. Up against the ropes, down and nearly out went Alex Stewart. He was able to get up, but only to absorb a little more punishment. As you see, it's round 1, and that's all there was. A fast starter, historically, is Mike Tyson. A slow starter is Alex Stewart, and that, in essence, was the story. Meanwhile, let's return live here. Eric Clemens is standing by with Richie Giacchetti, the trainer of Mike Tyson. Eric.
Come on, come on, come on. All right, thank you very much. Richie Giacchetti, your guy went right after Alex Stewart. Was that the game plan all along?
Absolutely. We went out with an overhand right. You know the guy was going to be, he's tall. It worked, and to come back. At the end a little bit, he finished good. One time the referee made me mad. It was a long count. He should have been out, but he let him come back again, and Mike finished him off. But, he's back. He's ready. He's in shape, and there's bigger and better things come because he's the greatest fighter in the world.
What's next for him, Ruddock?
Whatever Don King, when we could decide on right now, we don't pick that right now. Right now, we want Holyfield, whoever, the George Foreman. He's back. Believe me, he's back. Back.
Good enough. Richie, thank you very much. Now let's go back to the podium and Charlie Steiner. Charlie?
As always, cool under fire, Richie Giacchetti. And as well, he should be proud of his man, Mike Tyson, who was clearly focused for this fight. And spending some time with him here last week, there was little question that Mike Tyson was ready for this fight. And he is ready now to resume his pursuit of the heavyweight championship. As you see, Mike Tyson is at the podium in the news conference, and he is about ready to address the assembled multitudes. Let's go now to the news conference back at the other end of the convention center here in Atlantic City. Mike Tyson.
Excuse me? No, I knew he was tough. I knew he was a tough fighter, and he was adorable, but I knew he wasn't going to keep getting up for long. I'll fight anybody. At this moment, I'm just going to relax for a little while, perhaps take a week off and just relax. I trained real hard for this fight. I know I'm not going to fight Holyfield now. I know I'm not going to get a fight now. Excuse me? I felt a little anxious, but I just wanted to explode on him. I was just anxious. I made a mistake and we exchanged, but yeah, it didn't bother me. I was hungry. No, because I knew as soon as I hit him, I hit anybody, they'd go. Well, you know, I mean, just with fighters, I rushed a little too much, but I was okay.
Great.
I hit him with a right hook to the body, the best punch. It wasn't a knockdown. It was a hard punch to the body, but after that, I knew it was over. Yeah, I threw it the right hand to. Yes. Excuse me? I know once I connect, my main aspect is my body punches. I punch harder than the body, believe it or not, how, you know what I mean, I rate it may sound. I punch harder to the body than I do to the head. It's just that I'm sometimes reluctant to punch to the body. But once I catch anybody clean to the body, I don't even worry no more. I'm just, you know, I'll fight anybody. But right now I'm just going to take a week off and then we'll find out from then. Anybody. Excuse me? I just sometimes I get, you know, I mean, just sometimes I just want to rush in and punch. But I'm body punching is my best.
Mike, your game plan going in. You wanted to take him out right away? What was the story going in?
I just wanted to do my job. Alex Stewart, he's a good fighter, and you know what I mean, he's a class act, he's a very nice guy. You know what I mean, but it's too bad it had to happen like that. But I really like him personally. He's a real nice guy. Excuse me? He wasn't scared. He thought he can beat me. He was in better shape now than he was when he fought Holyfield. Well, he looked in better shape. I never lose my confidence, you know what I mean? Even after Tokyo, I used to never lose my confidence, you know what I mean? I used to never lose my confidence because that's what majority of people would love to see that happen. They would love to see this cocky, arrogant, you know what I mean, successful young black kid who's always talking about he can kill everybody, he can beat everybody, also say, well, yeah, I lost to a better man. Bullshit, I'm the best.
All right. All right. That's why they're running from us.
I'm out of here, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Mike Tyson has a flair for words, doesn't he? Well, he certainly is entitled. In his last 3 fights here in Atlantic City, he has fought a grand total of 5 minutes and 31 seconds and has grossed somewhere near $28 million for that kind of work. Of course, he had the big payday with Michael Spinks and a pretty decent payday with Carl the Truth Williams, and he made about $2 million for his 2 minutes and 27 seconds of devastation of Alex the Destroyer Stewart. We will continue our coverage.